Hey there, welcome to episode 13 of the Autumn Poppy Designs podcast. My name is Paula and I am your host. This is a knitting podcast, predominantly. So, let's get started. I moved. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen over on my my Instagram channel that we were in the middle of a move. On July 1st ish, it's like the 1st to the 4th, really. It took forever to move. We have so much stuff and there was so much cleaning to do in this new house. I'm still not done. I'm slowly beginning to realize that I am going to have to wash all of the floors in the house. Not just the linoleum in the kitchen and the basement, but even the hardwood, because the kids are running around and their feet are black. So that tells you something. Anyway, you don't want to hear about that, but this is my new spot. I am currently in my living room. My desk is in the basement with the kids' stuff, so I didn't want to film down there. It's a little dark, so the light wasn't too great, and it's a mess from all the kids' toys being everywhere. So yeah, up here it is. Plus, it's just nice up here. I love these new couches we got. They are the softest fabric ever. We got them used from this lovely couple who, I don't even know if they use them because they look brand new, and we got them for a steal. So yeah, my old gray couch went into the basement for a bit, and then we realized we have one too many couches, so something had to go. So we ended up getting rid of that old gray couch and using our other gray couch down there instead. It's much newer, much nicer, so we decided to stick with the nice one. Anyway, let's get started. I have a couple of finished objects to show you, a lot of yarn acquisitions, and some new projects. Lots of new projects. So, finished objects. Let's start with that. I have 2 finished pairs of socks. Here is one. These I knit for B. You might have seen them before. I knit the exact same socks in a 72 stitch. These are 64, but I knit them in a 72 stitch count. They turned out way too big, way too long. So they were gifted to his father, who loves them. And I had to knit B a new set. So interestingly enough, I had exactly the right amount of yarn, and I didn't count or prep or anything, so I was just really, really lucky. But I had exactly enough to finish his socks. So they are a little mismatched. I don't know if you can see that, but the stripes don't line up. Yeah. And that is because I was not taking any chances. So yeah, because if I wanted to start them on this stripe for both socks, I would have had to rip out all of this and then start them here. And if I had done that, I would have not had enough yarn. So there we go. 64 stitch socks, heel flap and gusset. I do an Eye of Partridge heel, and wow, I did not realize that these heels turned out very, very different from each other. Wow. I did a really good job with these. I think this one's like a whole row longer or something. Whoops. And I messed up the patterning so bad on the one side. I don't know if you can tell. There you go. Anyway, I have partridge heel. I have a standard toe that I use, and then I just did a 1x1 rib. And the toe that I use is the same toe and kilt. Basically, if you knit any of my sock designs, this is like the same recipe. I always use the same recipe. I just do a vanilla sock instead of a pattern. And then the other thing that I finished for Father's Day were B's 4th Doctor socks. Yeah. So I just used a contrast mini that I had in my stash. And this is Area 51 fibers, 4th Doctor, self-striping yarn. And it is just beautiful. I absolutely love this colorway so much. The 4th Doctor is the one who wore the scarf, so this is based off his scarf, and it is perfect. Yeah, I just did a 1x1 rib. I have partridge heel flap and gusset, which is my go-to because it fits the best. And yeah, everything's been knit on a US one. I only use a US one for for socks. So yeah. Let's see. I guess we can go into current projects that I'm working on. I shared over on my Instagram a while ago that I was knitting the Helmy pullover by Sorry. I am in the process of ripping it out completely because I realized I was knitting the wrong size. It would have fit in the body just fine, but it wasn't going to fit my arms. So instead of doing a whole bunch of weird modifications, I am just going up in a size, and that'll just make me comfortable too. So yeah, it's got these cute little bobbles that run down in 2 lines down the front. You pick up for the it's actually a very good construction. I really enjoy this one. I don't really like doing short rows in a top-down raglan. I find them very frustrating. So what you do here is you cast on pretty much here. You just cast on this row of stitches, and then, oh sorry, actually it would be right about here where the v-neck is, like right at the top of the v-neck, and then you work back and forth, working your short rows, and your raglan increases at the same time, and once you've increased the correct amount, you join for knitting in the round. And that's how you do that. And that is pretty much the exact same construction I used for Penny's jumper. It's the same thing. You cast on for the neck, you join in the round, you finish working the raglans, you knit the body, you pick up the sleeves, and then you work the collar at the end. So you pick up stitches for the collar, join it in the round, and then knit. So yeah, but her sweater, it's still a little wet, it's fresh off the blocking mat, has this cute little ruffle detail at the bottom. So, just like that. I used Flower Child. Flower Child is the main color, and this is Iris, and it's single ply yarn, non-superwash single ply from Comfy Cozy Knits, and it's a collaboration that we're doing together, so I'm really excited about it. I finished the sweater before the move, but it was like a week before and I just didn't have the chance to block it or anything, so I just blocked it yesterday, and I'll be writing up the pattern hopefully this week and getting it out to the grader. I found this lovely, lovely lady who is helping me grade my patterns. So it's been very helpful because I just don't have the head for pattern grading or the time, really. I barely find time to write up half these patterns that I've imagined and designed and stuff, and I don't know what it is. I have time in the day, but I can't get the kids to focus for long enough for me to focus to write patterns and stuff. And then Penny really only naps for a max of 2 hours, which is average, but usually sometimes it's only like an hour to an hour and a half. And then Theo just takes quiet time. So most days he doesn't even nap, and he only stays in his room for maybe 40 minutes. And honestly, by the time I'm done my morning with them, I just want to sit and do nothing for a bit. Maybe just knit a couple stitches here and there, watch a show, and then just take my own quiet time because I'm just exhausted. I try to get so much done in the mornings that by the time they go down, I'm just like, ugh. Or I'm cleaning. There's so much cleaning all the time, so it is what it is. But yeah, enough about that. For this pullover, I am using this beautiful yarn from Estelle. It's 75% organic wool, 25% cellulosic viscose, which I don't even actually really know what it is. I'm gonna say it's plant. I could be horribly wrong. Anyway, it says it's organic, but it's eco tweed, and I actually really enjoy it. It's got a beautiful color to it. You can see the tweed in it. Yeah, and it knits very nicely. It's listed as a DK, but it's actually more of a sport. That's why I bought this to knit the Sawyer pullover, but the stitch definition just wasn't there, and it wasn't crisp or anything. So I saw that the Helmy pullover was another pattern that I owned, and it was worked in a sport weight yarn, so I went with that, and it's lovely for this. I mean, here, let me see if I can show you a bit. So I really enjoy it for that. This is the silver color, and I just get this at my local yarn store. And recently she was having a sale, so I picked up another color. This is gold, and I adore it. It is just perfect. My local yarn store hasn't actually been open since the pandemic started, so I have to buy everything online, and then I can just pick it up curbside. So I was taking a bit of a chance buying this one because it looks much more yellow on their website, but it's perfect. And I don't know if you can see, but it's got all these different like oranges and greens throughout it. So it's pricey. This is $15 Canadian, so it's a little pricey for me. So I've been buying one skein at a time here and there just to save some money. But at the same time, I've been finding that every time I knit a sweater pattern, I usually always have about a skein or two left. So I kind of like the idea, and since it's commercially dyed, they're always going to be the same. But this way I will buy exactly what I need and hopefully have have minimal leftovers, I guess. So yeah, this one. And this is going to be for another sweater by Sari, because I am absolutely obsessed with all of her patterns. She just put it out. It's the, oh my goodness, let me see if I can find it real quick. Rococo. That's what it is. It's the new Rococo pullover that she did with La Bien-Aimée. Yeah. It also calls for a DK. I'm hoping I can get away with this one. It's just lace, so it should be fine in terms of stitch definition. But yeah, we'll swatch, we'll see. And if not, I'm sure I can find something else to knit with it. So yeah. I also put in an order with Area 51. Actually, hang on, let me go back a second. So Area 51, what she does is she has free shipping over $60. So I usually buy 2 skeins at once. And when I bought this yarn, I got this colorway for myself. It is just beautiful. It is called Anne, and it's inspired by Anne of Green Gables, from Anne with an E. And nope, not Anne with an E. I am so sorry. It's Anne of Green Gables, but based off of the Rifle Paper Co. cover for the book. Yes, the book at Chapters. It's a special edition that Rifle Paper Co. put out, and the cover on it is stunning. I don't actually have it because I have a box set that I found in a vintage shop. So that's what I have. And I really wanted to buy this special edition because I love Anne of Green Gables. It's one of my favorite stories. But instead I bought Little Women and The Secret Garden. So, but yes, Anne. And then she was having a Halloween special, so naturally I had to jump on that as well. And I got this colorway. It's called Spooky Speckled Donuts. And I got another one. It's oh, I can't remember the name of it. Do I even have the tag in here? Actually, I have the tag here. It is called, yes, Speckle or Spook. And I already kicked it up because I'm going to be casting on socks for B for Halloween. I love the idea of having Halloween socks. I love fall and Halloween and everything so much. So having socks is even better. But he picked this one because he loves orange. It's really all there is to it. So yeah, those are the ones I got for him. Actually, I really just added to cart 2 of her Halloween colorways that I really liked, and then I let him pick which one he wanted. So, and then it was, they were 10% off with the discount, and then she sent a mini with it as well that she thought would match. So, I think I'm just going to use it for both of us and put in heels, but do the same thing I did with these, where I just put in a contrasting heel and then knit the whole sock out of the yarn. I actually ended up with maybe just enough to knit one of the kids a pair of socks with the leftover yarn from this. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm lying. I don't know. I have to weigh it. I think at the most it might be socks for Penny because she has very small feet. But I don't know. I don't know. Her foot length is 5.5 inches. So very, very tiny feet still. She's gonna be 2 next month. And Theo starts school in September. Maybe. we'll see what the how many people end up getting vaccinated, if all the teachers at his school are vaccinated, and I don't know. I really hope he gets to start and he doesn't have to wear a face mask when he goes. Although he loves his face mask. It's Batman, which is his favorite, and he actually really likes wearing it. But I can't see him doing an 8-hour day in a face mask, or 6 hours, or whatever, however long school is for him. And we actually ended up moving closer to his school now, so I can walk him if I'm still at home and haven't found a job yet. Anyway, we are here for knitting. The other thing I wanted to show you is this beautiful sock set that I got from the Creative Knitter. This is the first time I have purchased yarn from her. It is her Creative Sock, which is an 80/20. It's 115 grams, so it's a little thicker. And it's called Tropic Like It's Hot. And really, it's just the name that got me. But then the colors on the website actually didn't look as good as this. I was perfectly happy ordering what I ordered, but then it showed up and it looked better, and I was just so ecstatic. Like, and look at this purple patch here, and these are gonna be so fun, and I can't wait to cast them on. They're gonna be the cutest socks I own. Definitely the brightest. Definitely the brightest. So yeah, she was having a free shipping sale, and I just took a look. I wasn't even planning on buying anything because it was literally like 2 days before we were moving, and I was just like, no, it wasn't 2 days before we were moving. It was a week before we were moving, and I'm like, there's no way these will come in time. I'll just take a quick peek. It's fine, whatever. And then they came 2 days before we were moving. That's what it was. But yeah, I actually had a really hard time deciding which ones I wanted because there was another pair that was really, really cute. And let's just say I did a lot of stress shopping just before we moved, which was not a great idea either. But stress. I couldn't help myself. Yeah. The other thing I purchased when my local yarn store was having a little clear out sale is yarn for a sweater. I had this leftover skein. This is Cascade 220 in the Spun Gold Heather colorway. I don't know, in the US it has a different name. I think it might be like Shanadal or something. Yeah, but this is the leftover skein from my Weekender sweater. And that sweater fits me perfect. I love it so much. Everything about it is just perfect. I did knit the sleeves smaller than was written because when I did knit them properly, they were really baggy here, like really baggy, like baggy. Anyway, so I ended up changing the rate of decreases and didn't end up using as much yarn, I guess. But I still had this and a little bit more left over. So I took that whole skein and paired it with these other colors that I got, and I got light gray heather and natural, and I started knitting the Urban Adventure Pullover by, you guessed it, sorry. So here it is so far. I have yarn just kind of rolling around on the floor because you're working almost 3 colors at once at one point. So here is what I have so far. I have it on extremely large needles, so I'm just folding it so you can see it properly. But yeah, there you go. And I am so in love with this. I am addicted to knitting color work. I've always loved color work, but lately it's just been like, I don't know, it just makes me very, very, very happy right now, and it's giving me a lot of joy. So color work it is. So anytime I find a spare minute I can knit on this, I do. I need my computer open because the chart is quite large, and I don't like to print my patterns. I find it kind of wasteful, so I just use my computer or my phone most of the time. Yeah, so like I said, it's Cascade 220. It's a worsted weight pullover. I am using US 8 for the color work because I still knit that a little tight. I have US 6 for the ribbing and 7 for the body. Yeah, that's right. And I am knitting size 5, I think 5. I want to say 5. I haven't even created a Ravelry page for it yet. I just started right away. I was so excited. I swatched and then I was like, I'm starting right now. Not even blogging my swatch. Shh, don't tell anybody. And yeah, so in all of my excitement to knit color work again, I remembered I have this beautiful mini skein set. These are 10-gram mini skeins, and they are from the UK, from this lovely, lovely designer or a dyer. I can't remember the name. I couldn't even look it up right now if I tried. Oh my goodness. I can't remember it, and I lost the tag, or it's somewhere downstairs on my desk hanging up. But if I remember, I will post it down below. But yes, she released this one-of-a-kind mini skein set last year, I want to say. I think it was last year. It was last summer, or the summer before. Maybe the summer before. Don't know. Anyway, it's 8 10-gram mini skeins, and they're a various blend of variegateds and tonals, and I love this colorway. This is going to be the color of Penny's room. And yeah, and I think I'm going to knit colorwork socks out of this. I am going to play with the colors and figure out a cute little pattern, and off we go. And that'll be that. I am so excited. I want to cast on right away, and I have a million other things to do, and I just want to design and cast on and go and go and go and go, and that is how these happened. And there's another sock that happened, but I couldn't figure out the pattern exactly the way I liked. So this is the Cherry Orchard sock set from Camp Fiber Yarns. The colorway is called Cherry Orchard, and it is made up of this mini and the main color here. It's beautiful. I love the deep tonals. It's blowing out a little bit because it's just, that's about accurate there. But yeah, I did a large twisted rib cuff that goes into the design with baubles and lace, and I added a little lace stitch that runs down the leg. And it's also on the back of the leg here, right in the middle. And yeah. So these are ready for test knitting now. I posted a call out on my Patreon. I will be posting a call to the general public on Monday. I'm now just wondering though if I meant to do that yesterday or next week. I think it's next week. I really think it's next week. Oh my goodness. I am so tired from this move. I am just drained and I have a million things to do still, and it's just, I'm frazzled because it's so hard trying to fit into a whole new routine in a new house and manage the children and manage this little business of mine, and then still try and make a living off of this so I don't have to go back to like find a proper job. And I don't know. I really hope I figure it out soon so I don't have to take a job somewhere. Anyway, this other sock, I've always wanted to design a pair of all over lacy socks, and then I realized that that's not really me. So what I did is I designed this. It has a beautiful, let me just take it off the blocker or move it. I will move it. That's a good idea. There we go. So it has this beautiful lace panel on the front with this little cable that repeats on either side, and they're cuffed down, and then I have the same little cable on the back of the sock here, and heel flap and gusset, twisted stitch for the cuff, and it's one color. That is it. You just need the one color, and I love it. I was having a hard time memorizing the cable here in the middle because my brain was thinking about moving, but once I just paid attention to what I was doing, it was very easy to memorize. Yeah, then I have, like I said, another sock on the needles that I want to design. I still have a pair of socks for B that I'm trying to design and have been trying to figure them out for quite some time. I had them started and was kind of happy with it, but I think it's just too many textured stitches, I think, and it's just slowing me down. But I am using this yarn from Ravenswood Fiber Co. They are out in Nova Scotia. It's called Autumn Drive, and I have a contrast mini that looks black. It's really dark blue. It's like a royal blue. And I did a 1x1 rib for like 20 rows, I think. Like, it's quite long. Anyway. And yeah, I wanted something that had a lot of cables on it. Then I realized that that was too much for me, and I didn't enjoy knitting it, so I ripped it out. And then I added texture stitches, but now there's almost too many textured stitches. And then I redesigned the pattern again and didn't rip it out yet to go with the new design, so I still have to do that. But I did a moss stitch on the back of the leg, and then the front is flanked by 2 cables and moss stitch in the middle. But I wanted like a double moss stitch. I'm sorry, you can hear Penny, she's still falling asleep. Anyway, I have to figure those out and get going on those, because those have been sitting around for like a year now. So yeah, let's see. The last thing that I am, actually that's a lie. Okay, I have 2 more things to show you. just 2 more. I finished my tube sock. I knit this by hand. I don't have a sock machine or anything like that, so I knit this by hand. I just really needed something meditative that I could just turn my brain off pretty much and just not worry about moving and just knit and be. relaxed and at peace and just knit. So this is my sock tube. I pretty much hand wound this yarn. It became a tangled mess and I ended up with 2 balls. And so I took the smaller one and just knit a tube and didn't really pay attention to what I was doing because this is where I started with this nice large cuff, and this is where I finished with this, what is really only like 2 rows shorter than it should be, but feels like it's like 10 rows shorter. So yeah, like if I counted them, maybe it's like 3 rows shorter, but it feels like a huge difference when you put them up next to each other. I did a 2x1 rib, so 63 stitches, and then completely forgot to increase to 64 stitches, so the whole thing is only 63 stitches. That's okay. That's okay, I can work with that. Anyway, my goal is to cut it in half and put in heels and toes, obviously. So yeah, I was thinking about doing a tutorial for that. So if you're interested, I will be releasing that exclusively on my Patreon. And yeah, I think I have plenty of yarn to make shorty socks. I think these will be shorty socks. I really hope they will be shorty socks. I will count first using my little formula, which is also available on Patreon. So yeah, little formula, figure out how long the foot is, and go from there. But just putting it up to the foot of this, it looks like I should be just fine for shorty socks. Yeah, see? There, yeah. Anyway, this is Crux Fibers. She put out a self-striping skein for Advent last year, and she so very generously and lovingly sent me a skein of it as part of my Christmas present from her. So finally did something with it. It is just so beautiful, and it comes with a contrast mini, and it's perfect. It's yellow, so I am good to go. And yeah, I have the rest of the yarn I will be doing socks for B. And depending on how much of this I have left over, it is a 20-gram ball, so it should be fine. But depending on how much I have, B might just be getting heels. So yeah, there's that. Because this is the other ball I have. I think it's, I want to say it's 60 grams. It could be, yeah, I think it's 60 grams because I think that was 30 that I had. So yeah. The last thing, that's not really the last thing that I'm working on, but this last thing I'm showing you is a recipe for toe-up socks for children, babies, toddlers, children, and this is Penny's sock. I realized I knit it a little too big in the foot, but I mean, she'll grow into it. It'll just be a little big for a little bit, and then it'll be perfect, and then it'll be too small. So, but yeah, so it's toe up, heel flap, gusset, all this stuff. I'm working on the leg right now, and I am using leftover yarn from Rose Hill Yarns, and it is a beautiful color that I actually already designed a pair of socks with. These were part of my Shorty Sock collection, the Shorty Sock Club. Spring has sprung sock club, that's what it was. Anyway, that's the one. So yeah, am knitting these on DPNs because I haven't worked with DPNs in quite some time, and I'm actually really liking it for these socks. I find sometimes working with magic loop for these smaller circumferences is a bit tedious, and now that I've gotten back into the groove of knitting with DPNs, it's flying. It's going so fast. And I am using this beautiful hand-stitched DPN cozy from the kitchen sink shop. Yeah, it's got a little bee on it. And then it has a different backing fabric. But yeah, so that's that. That's it. That's all I have to share. Yeah. So I am off to double check the dates for these guys. I have to write up the sweater pattern. I have like 100,000 more things to do. And I will be having a shop update soon, an Etsy shop update. I got some new needle stoppers and a restock of the ones that were very popular. And I have beads on their way to make some new progress keepers and stitch markers. So I have to find time for that too. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't go too fast and overwhelm you. As always, I'd love to hear from you, so be sure to post any of your questions and comments below. And then be sure to subscribe and like. Thank you. Bye.